Hello, welcome to another installment of my Mass Effect multiplayer guides, the classes. Today I'll be handling the long requested Geth Engineer. Uh, I've been somewhat reluctant to cover the Geth Engineer for the simple reason that it's not a character, or sorry, a class that lacks in popularity. But I've decided to employ a weapon that's my personal favorite on the Geth Engineer that's not very popular with it. So I will add that bit of spice to it. Now, as I said, there's a reason why the Geth Engineer does not lack for popularity. It's because it's easily one of the most powerful classes. At the same time, it is literally the walking definition of glass cannon. However, assuming you use hunter mode. Now, the build I use is about as much of a walking cannon as you could possibly have. In fact, I use up all my metagels in the waves 1 and 3 for the Reapers, and you'll see it's a bit embarrassing, but I'm just trying to show how this works. Um, but basically, I've just made a little video. It's a little over 20 minutes of the first 4 waves of Cerberus on Giant and the first 3 waves of Reapers on Ghosts, both gold, of course, just showing how it works. Now, the Geth Engineer, because it's so incredibly fragile, um, you really can't afford to get hit. Yes, you have shield gate, but consider what happened to me in a couple of cases. So the dreaded Marauders, and this is why I maintain, that's why I got grabbed by Husks, why I think that Marauders, Husks, and sometimes Cannibals are the worst of the Reapers. I mean, the way the Husks sneak up on you, and Marauders, well, they have a phase that fires, that has like marksman with a 150% rate of fire rate. It's insane. It just mows you down. So, that's an issue. But getting to the general build. So the build I have, it totally ignores fitness, which is rare. I'm a big fan of fitness in general for most builds. For the simple reason that if you're going to use hunter mode, fitness is fairly irrelevant anyway. I don't really see the point. Uh, as far as the Geth turrets concerns, completely offensive. There's so many Geth guides, engineer guides, so I don't really need to go into depth on that. But of course, the entire top row, including flamethrower, armor piercing, and the rank 4, which I think is extra damage as well. Yeah, extra damage. So that's pretty simple. Then overload. I'm a big fan of overload as crowd control, not as a major damage dealer. So it's the entire top row, including neural shock and all the rest of those goodies. The chain effect, basically. With hunter mode and passive, it's worthy of being talked about because I differ from people. To me, in general, my opinion on builds as a whole and my play style is that I always place priority on weapon damage. I think weapon damage is more important than power usage because power spamming at the end of the day might be efficient, but an OSOC kill to the head is even more efficient. So what do I do with hunter mode? And ignore everything relating to the power stuff, and I go for rank 4, 25 increase accuracy, rank 5 rate of fire, and finally weapon damage. So that gives me a hefty 25% weapon damage bonus, coupled by increased 15% of rate of fire, coupled by a total of 25% increased accuracy. And you can see it in the videos how much that affects and how much it improves on the already very powerful Saber assault rifle. Then for the passive, I of course ignore all of the power stuff and go. Well, that's not true. I don't go for headshot damage because I think it's superfluous. But I do choose weapon damage for rank 4. Then I take the power, 15% power damage, and then I go for overall weapon damage. That gives me. This isn't even a Geth weapon, but this gives the Saber that I'm using a 47.5% damage bonus to what it already does. Coupled by increased rate of fire, you'll see I can fire much more quickly, and the accuracy, which really dramatically improves what the Saber already is. I mean, to me, the Saber, it's my favorite assault rifle, one of my favorite weapons, but it's just fantastic on the Geth Engineer because you can use it at point blank range as a shotgun in a way. You can use it as a sniper rifle, a scopeless sniper rifle. You can use it at medium range. It really has very few limitations on it. And the fact that you have a 15% increased rate of fire, you do feel that. So you're not weighed down by that incredibly slow rate of fire for most characters. increase accuracy 25% to whatever he has is just fantastic. So that this is what I would call the Saber Geth Engineer. Now, I like to say, at least in my guys, that I try not to be prescriptive. Different weapons work for different people. But one thing I will say is that if people want to improve their gameplay and their style, you should look for hard-hitting precision weapons. All the best players, and I'm not one of the best, but if you look at the best player, one of the best, Spectre, for example, you see he uses the Claymore, he uses OSOC sniper rifles, um, opposed to AOE weapons. They're fun, but if you really want to improve your game skills, improve your headshotting skills, that's what I would recommend. Powerful weapons. But in the case of the Geth Engineer, there's a lot of variety. But I would just say that you want to take advantage of of a weapon that has several rounds in it. Now, it might be true that the Paladin for a lot of caster classes is better, but having 8 rounds really takes advantage of the increased rate of fire for the Saber and the Geth Engineer. So that's a very good thing. So you Another, I think, as the ocean is blue, I believe his name. I'm planning at some point in time and doing a double run with him. Hopefully, he'll be using the Hurricane. I'll be using the Saber, and especially in close quarters. I do want to make a general mention of something that's very important that people overlook is that certain maps are better suited to certain kinds of weapons. I think for an all-purpose weapon like the Saber, it's less of an issue, but certainly the Hurricane is mind-blowingly effective in the hands of the Geth Engineer. If you spec for maximum rate of fire, accuracy, weapon damage, and so on and so forth on a map like Glacier or White, just fantastic. You blow things away in an instant. The combination of the even faster rate of fire with the increased damage is just amazing. So maps are make things dependent, but the thing about hunter mode and properly spec'd passive means that any weapon you put in your hands will be very good. The Talon is also very good. The Indra is very good. I don't have time to showcase all of those weapons. I might in due time just, maybe do a solo run or what have you and just show that. But for the time being, my current favorite is definitely the Saber. Never mind the cool sound it makes. The other thing people have issues with the Saber is kickback. I find kickback's only a real issue when it comes to the scope. So on the Geth Engineer, you don't need a scope. You already have. It's incredibly accurate. You can headshot across the screen. So that's not an issue. But one thing about the Geth Engineer, you see how often I die in both videos. I was being careless, but I'm just trying to show principles here. You are a glass cannon. If you might have shield gate, but a Marauder firing his 150% marksman accuracy and plus accuracy, 150% accuracy facing it, you will mow you down in a millisecond. You will die instantly. That's why I think the Geth Engineer, in many ways, is one of the least suitable classes to solo aim, just because you literally just can't get hit. You also can't cloak. So there's some debate about the turret. You go offensive or defensive. Yes, you will have an increased shield recharge rate with the defensive turret. It's nice, but the fact is the flamethrower is fantastic. I think you see in that video I killed a Banshee with it. It's devastating to so many enemies. Not only that, it makes the Phantoms jump around, which is a form of crowd control, and damages them at the same time. I wouldn't want to forego that personally. And whilst there are very good builds involving the defensive turret, I personally would endorse for a reasonably aggressive style of play the offensive turret. Go for armor damage, flamethrower, you name all of it. It's just very, very, very good. It does a ton of damage, and it really it's great crowd control as well. Less so for the shield regeneration, that occasionally is helpful. It does have some minimal shield regeneration, so that's not too bad. But this build is all about offense. I would strongly urge people to on hunter mode to really take advantage of those rather unique skills involving accuracy and rate of fire, as well as increased weapon damage. I think seeing an extra, I think it's 10 meters, it's nice, and being able to run an extra 10% faster is nice too. At the end of the day, having an extra 10% weapon damage is even better, I think. And as soon as enemies come into range, you can see them. 20 meters is too bad. So take advantage of that. Lots of classes have overload and power bonuses. Why not take advantage of the thing that really makes Hunter mode unique, which is the weapon bonuses that it applies when you're using particularly rapid fire weapons and increases their accuracy. Um, so Hunter mode really is fantastic. The other thing you'll see me doing, and this is not directly related to Geth Engineer, but in a way it is because of Hunter mode, because you have wall hack, you see me just killing enemies firing through wall. Now, in this particular video, my favorite setup for the saber is a damage barrel, coupled by armor piercing, and then on top of that, having armor piercing ammo, in this case, armor piercing 3, which will give you over 2 meters of penetration. Because you have the wall hack, you can shoot through 2 meter plus walls and still kill enemies. The fact that you do so much damage with it will, to some extent, mitigate the lessened damage from the armor piercing mod, and it's just very, very good. Um, Trying to think of what else I might want to mention here, but ideally, you have a team with a Geth engineer, because if you get hit, you will go down very, very quickly. You can play it very cautiously, but the fact is, at some point in time, you will get hit. Any character does. It's very rare not to be hit. It's just really dangerous. Considering I have a total of 750 shield, 250 health, and I'm running hunter mode, I don't know what the calculations are exactly, but it's shield gate's gone and I just die. That's how it works, more or less. It's really the most delicate character in the game, in this form. There are builds that don't involve hunter mode that are quite good, in which case they're very durable. The 1,000 plus shields plus a healing defense turret is quite good, in fact. But I prefer hunter mode. I like having that 47.5% total weapon damage bonus. It's just very, very nice. Um, but what else? What else is there to say? And I showed the Reapers as well to show that this is a very effective build, with the Saber against Reapers as well. The the armor piercing mod coupled by armor piercing, you can take out brutes in basically one clip, and you can fire the clip pretty fast. So that's not a problem. The Saber really is just an all-purpose weapon, in my opinion. I'm not. Most enemies, assuming you get a headshot, can be two-shotted. Assuming you get a head, assuming you go through first shot, will take out the shields or whatever, and you can get a headshot. Guardians are no problem. You see me routinely just one-shot them through with the Saber. It's just very, very good. It's a great weapon. And I do think it has a lot of advantages over the Paladin, especially for a character such as the Geth Engineer that can really take advantage of those 8 rounds. Now, some people might want to take advantage of the extended ammo clip, which will give you 14, which is quite nice. But I prefer the extra power from the combination of armor piercing along with the damage barrel. You can, I think I've used it a few times in the video, you can use the reload trick as well. So it has a relatively long reload time. You can cut that down by a couple of milliseconds. So it's quite good. But things to bear in mind, the Geth Engineer, finally, well, you are glass cannon. Try to the extent that you can not to get hit. Running out in the open is generally a terrible idea. Whether it's Cerberus or Reapers, you'll get mowed down pretty quickly, especially with Reapers, Marauders, and Cannibals. It's embarrassing that I didn't have the situational awareness, but I did get jumped by a Husk. Husks are just a nuisance in some ways, but when you're soloing, you really need to pay attention to them. They will jump you, and once they jump on you, you have other enemies there, you're a goner. It's just that simple. But this is a very good build, but the thing is, the Hunter mode coupled by the Geth passives just make so many weapons just great. Good or great weapons just fantastic. Those of you who are really concerned about cooldowns, which for me, I don't think cooldowns are the be-all and end-all in the world, you're free to take advantage of the assault, for this build, the assault rifle weight reduction. I don't really care. My particular saber is level 10, so I still have 100% base cooldown with it, and that's fine for me. I look at overload as excellent crowd control, but it's not something I want to continually spam necessarily, so it's all good in that sense. Anything else to cover? Well, I think this basically covers it. I will be making probably a few other videos with different weapons, maybe, and I do plan on doing a two-man run at some point in time, hopefully with as the oceans are blue. He made the Turian and Geth Hurricane Engineer guides, and so we'll probably collaborate. And I'll probably use my saber, of course, and he'll probably use his Hurricane. So that should be pretty cool, I think. Barring that, I hope you enjoy the guide, and thanks for watching as always. Uh, I want to also say that I appreciate a lot of the kind PMs I've received and the feedback. When people show appreciation for this, it motivates me to make more of them. Um, I do this for fun, but also to help people, and it's very rewarding when people send me personal PMs telling me that they've benefited from these guides. So I just want to thank all the people who've done that and expressed their appreciation. I appreciate you as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the forums.